Welcome back. If you are here for the first time, I am really glad you found this place. This is Sleepy Science, a channel where we take the quiet corners of the natural world and lay them out slowly, gently, like a blanket being smoothed across a bed at the end of a long day. Tonight, we are going to spend time with one of the most fascinating creatures that has ever shared this planet with us, the crow. Before we begin, if these slow, easy videos help you drift off, it would mean a lot if you left a like, or subscribed, or just wrote something small in the comments. Even a single word. It helps other tired people find their way here too. And if you have ever thought about supporting the channel more directly, there is a Patreon link below. Every bit of support goes toward keeping these videos going, keeping this quiet little corner of the internet alive. No pressure at all. Just know that it matters. Now, let us begin. There is something about a crow that makes people stop and look. Not in the way a bright exotic bird might catch your eye, with color or song or spectacle. Crows are mostly black. Their call is not delicate or melodic. They are not rare or hidden away in remote jungles. Crows are everywhere. On telephone wires in the early morning, in parking lots, walking between cars with a kind of unhurried confidence, in city parks, in bare winter trees, in fields at the edge of towns just before the light fades. And yet, despite their ordinariness, there is something in how they move, how they watch, how they tilt their heads just slightly to one side when they look at you, that makes you feel, without quite being able to say why, that something very deliberate is happening behind those eyes. Crows have been living alongside humans for a very long time, longer than most of us realize. They followed early human settlements because settlements meant food. Scraps, refuse, the edges of harvests, things left behind. But somewhere in that long shared history, something else developed. A familiarity, a watching from both sides. Humans noticed crows noticing them. And crows, it turns out, have been paying very close attention to us all along. Tonight we will move through the world of the crows slowly. We will look at the way they think, the way they feel, the way they communicate and grieve and play. We will look at what science has quietly uncovered about these birds that most people walk past without a second thought. And all of it, every corner of this story, is meant to carry you gently, like water moving over smooth stone, slow and steady, toward sleep. Let us start at the beginning, with what a crow actually is. Crows belong to a family of birds called the Corvidae. This family includes not just crows, but also ravens, rooks, jackdaws, magpies, jays, and nutcrackers. It is a wide, varied family, found across nearly every continent on Earth, adapted to an enormous range of environments. But within that family, the crows themselves form the genus Corvus. And within Corvus, there are around 45 known species. The American crow, the carrion crow of Europe, the hooded crow, the jungle crow, the large-billed crow, the Hawaiian crow, the fish crow, the little crow, each one adapted to its particular corner of the world. Each one carrying with it the full depth of what it means to be a corvid. What unites them is not just biology. It is something that takes a little longer to define. A quality of presence. An alertness that feels, in moments, almost personal. The American crow, Corvus brachyrhynchos, is the species most people in North America are familiar with. It is a medium to large bird, around 17 to 21 inches from beak to tail, entirely black, with a fan-shaped tail and a strong, slightly curved bill. Its feathers, though they look plain at a distance, have a faint iridescence up close. In the right light, they shift toward blue or purple or green, like something buried just beneath the surface. Their voice is one of the most recognizable sounds in the natural world. That clear, carrying call, repeated and insistent. But the full range of crow vocalizations is far more complex than most people know. Crows have at least 25 distinct calls that researchers have documented. Different calls for different purposes. There are alarm calls and assembly calls. Soft, low sounds used between mates or family members in close proximity. Calls that seem to mean "come here." Calls that seem to mean danger. Calls that mean something more like "I found something good." And beyond what humans have categorized, researchers suspect there are regional dialects. Variations in how crows from different places make the same kinds of sounds. A local accent, you might say, carried through learning, passed from parents to young. Take a slow breath now. Feel the weight of your body where you are lying. Let your shoulders drop just a little. Let the back of your neck soften. There is nowhere to be right now except here. Inside the story of the crow. Crows are born helpless. This is something that often surprises people who associate crows with such confident, capable behavior. But newly hatched crows, called nestlings, are altricial. That is the scientific word for animals that are born at an early stage of development and require extensive parental care. They arrive in the world without feathers, with eyes sealed shut, completely dependent on their parents for everything. Warmth, food, protection, everything. The parents take turns brooding the eggs, keeping them at the right temperature. Incubation lasts roughly 17 or 18 days. Then, after hatching, the young birds remain in the nest for about a month before they are ready to fledge, meaning they take their first tentative flights from the nest. But fledging is not independence. Not even close. Young crows continue to be fed and looked after by their parents for several more months. And in many crow families, older siblings from previous years will also help. These helpers, sometimes called auxiliary breeders, assist with feeding and guarding the nest. A crow family is not just a pair of adults and their chicks. It is often a multi-generational group, working together with accumulated shared knowledge. This extended childhood, this long period of learning before independence, is closely linked to something that makes crows extraordinary: brain development. Crows have one of the largest brains, relative to body size, of any bird on Earth. When scientists talk about this, they use a measure called the encephalization quotient. It is a way of comparing actual brain size to what you would predict for an animal of that body size. The higher the number, the larger the brain relative to expectations. By this measure, crows and their corvid relatives score higher than almost any other bird, and their scores begin to approach those of some primates. Not because corvid brains look like primate brains. They do not. But because the cognitive complexity they support, the thinking, the planning, the remembering, the social reasoning, is comparable in surprising ways. What crows are doing with those brains is one of the most quietly fascinating stories in all of animal science. Let your eyes close more fully now. Let the sounds around you settle into the background. You do not have to hold on to anything. The crow story will carry you. One of the first things researchers noticed about crow intelligence was their ability to use tools. Tool use in animals was once thought to be distinctly human. Then chimpanzees were observed using sticks to fish termites from mounds, and that idea shifted. But even after that discovery, the assumption remained that tool use required hands, or at least something hand-like. Crows proved that assumption wrong. New Caledonian crows, a species found on a group of islands in the South Pacific, are the most tool-sophisticated birds ever documented. In the wild, they manufacture tools. Not just pick up a stick and poke something with it, but actually modify materials to create a more effective implement. They shape hooks from plant stems. They strip leaves down to the right width to probe for grubs inside wood. They select the specific type of plant material that will hold its shape when used as a lever. And they carry their tools with them. A crow that has fashioned a good hook from a twig will not leave it behind when it flies to the next foraging spot. It will hold the tool in its beak while it moves, saving the effort of making a new one. In laboratory studies, researchers have tested New Caledonian crows with puzzles that require multiple sequential steps to solve. In one now famous experiment, a crow named Betty was given a piece of straight wire and needed to retrieve a small bucket of food from inside a transparent tube. The bucket had a handle. The wire would not work to hook it unless it was bent. Betty, with no prior experience of wire, bent the wire against the side of the container to create a hook, then used it to retrieve the food. She did this across multiple trials, adapting, solving, thinking. Other experiments have placed food at the bottom of a tube, too deep to reach directly. To get it, the crow must first retrieve a short stick from one location, use that stick to retrieve a longer stick from another location, and only then use the longer stick to reach the food. This kind of sequential problem-solving, planning ahead through a chain of steps, was once considered a hallmark of higher primate cognition. Crows manage it with composure. American crows and other corvid species also use tools, though in different ways. They have been observed dropping hard-shelled nuts onto roads so that passing cars will crack them open. This is not an instinctive behavior. It is learned, and it is refined. Crows that do this do not just drop the nuts anywhere. They drop them at crosswalks, where they can wait on the signal light, then safely descend to collect the opened nut when traffic stops. If that does not make you pause for a moment, consider what it involves. Understanding that cars crack things. Understanding that roads have patterns of movement. Understanding that crosswalks are safer than open lanes. And waiting, patiently, for the right moment. Let your breathing slow. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Nice and easy. There is no hurry here. Just the crow and the quiet. Crows remember faces. This is one of the most remarkable discoveries to come out of crow research in recent decades. And it was not discovered by accident. It came from a series of careful, somewhat elaborate experiments conducted by researcher John Marsloff and his colleagues at the University of Washington. The researchers trapped wild crows on the university campus while wearing rubber caveman masks. They needed to mark the birds for a population study, but they also wanted to know whether the crows would associate the trapping with the face they saw doing it. After releasing the birds, researchers sometimes walked the same campus paths, wearing the same masks. The response was immediate and clear. The crows who had been trapped, scolded, and dive-bombed the researchers wearing the caveman masks. They ignored people wearing different masks, or no mask at all. They had remembered. Not the experience in general, not a vague sense of danger, but the specific face that had been part of what they perceived as a threat. It did not stop there. Over time, crows that had never been trapped themselves began scolding the caveman mask too. They had learned from others in their group. The information about the dangerous face had spread, passed from bird to bird through observation and communication. The researchers tested this over years. The scolding behavior persisted. Young crows who had never personally encountered the masked trappers still joined in the scolding when they saw the face, because they had been taught by older birds who had. The information traveled through crow society the way certain kinds of knowledge travel through human communities. Through demonstration, through repetition, through social learning. What this tells us is extraordinary. Crows are not just reacting to their environment. They are actively building a shared understanding of it. They are teaching each other. They are passing down cultural knowledge across generations. Think about what that means for a moment. A crow who has never personally been threatened by a particular face can still know to be wary of it, because another crow told it so, or showed it, or modeled the response, and the young bird watched and understood. Settle your body a little deeper now. Feel where you are resting. Let that feeling spread down through your shoulders, your arms, your hands, down through your lower back, down through your legs to your feet. You are held. You are safe. The crow story continues. Crows also remember kindness. This is the quieter, gentler side of the same ability. Researchers and ordinary people alike have reported that if you feed a crow regularly, and it comes to associate you with that positive experience, the behavior changes. The crow may begin to come closer. It may return to the same spot at the same time. It may even bring something. There is a girl named Gabby Mann. who, as a young child in Seattle, began feeding the crows in her yard. She was consistent. She fed them peanuts and dog food, every day, without fail. Over time, the crows began to leave things for her in return. Small objects placed in the spot where the food had been. A piece of black plastic, a small screw, a tiny piece of glass worn smooth, a bit of foam, what appeared to be a small blue button. Whether the crows were deliberately gifting her, or simply dropping things they had been carrying while collecting food, is something that can be debated. But the regularity of it, the ongoing exchange, the fact that the objects kept appearing, has been documented carefully and studied with genuine scientific interest. Many wildlife biologists who work with crows describe the birds becoming, over time, noticeably more comfortable around people who have treated them well, less skittish, more likely to linger, more likely to return. And there are anecdotal reports, consistent enough to be taken seriously, of crows bringing objects to humans who have helped them. A crow that was rescued after being injured. A crow that was regularly fed during a hard winter. These birds, once healthy or once the spring had come, returned, sometimes with objects, sometimes just to be present. Science can debate the mechanism all it likes. What is harder to dismiss is the pattern. Crows track their relationships. They register who has been kind and who has not. They adjust their behavior accordingly. And sometimes, in ways that are still not fully understood, they seem to find ways to express something back. The breath is slow now, easy and rhythmic, like the tide moving, in and out, in and out. Let the sounds around you soften further. You are drifting. Crows mate for life. This is a fact that many people do not know, and it shifts the way you might look at two crows sitting together on a wire. American crows, and many other corvid species, form long-term monogamous pair bonds. Once a pair has bonded, they tend to stay together, season after season, year after year. They nest together, forage together, raise their young together, and defend their territory together. Courtship in crows is not dramatic by the standards of, say, birds of paradise or peacocks. There is no elaborate plumage display, no brilliant color, no intricate dance. But it is not without its own grace. Male crows will puff themselves up, give a distinctive low call, and follow the female closely. They will feed her, offering bits of food directly to her beak in a behavior called courtship feeding. They will preen her feathers. They will sit quietly beside her for long stretches. It is, in its own way, very tender. Pair bonds can last for decades in some corvid species. Ravens, the largest corvids, have been observed in partnerships that lasted throughout the birds' lifetimes. And though crows do not typically live as long as ravens, long-lasting pair bonds have been well documented in American crows as well. When one partner dies, the surviving bird may grieve in ways that are recognizable, if not yet fully understood. It may return to the spot where the partner was last seen. It may call. It may spend days in a kind of subdued, quieter than usual state. And though crow grief is a subject still being carefully studied, what researchers have observed suggests that these bonds carry real weight. The crow nest itself is a modest but carefully made structure, built from sticks and twigs, lined on the inside with softer materials, bark fibers, fur, moss, grass, sometimes hair, including human hair. The cup of the nest, the hollow center where the eggs rest, is lined particularly carefully, pressed smooth, shaped by the turning body of the brooding bird until it fits perfectly. Both parents build the nest, though the female tends to do more of the final shaping and lining. It typically takes a week to 2 weeks to complete, and once it is done, it is anchored high in a tree, hidden by foliage, built to withstand weather and the curious approaches of other animals. The female lays 3 to 6 eggs, pale blue-green or olive-brown with irregular darker markings. She sits on them while her mate brings food to her. Both parents will aggressively defend the nest against any perceived threat. Hawks, owls, raccoons, even much larger animals. Crows have been observed harassing dogs, cats, and large birds of prey many times their own size, diving repeatedly with sharp, scolding calls, driving the intruder away. This behavior, called mobbing, is effective because it is relentless. Let the body go a little heavier, shoulders sinking, jaw unclenching, even the muscles around the eyes softening. Good. The crow keeps watch tonight, so you do not have to. Crows hold what scientists call crow funerals. This is one of the most discussed and debated observations in crow research, and it began with a simple but striking pattern. When a crow dies, other crows gather. Not just 1 or 2, sometimes dozens. They congregate around the body. They call loudly. They may stay for an extended period, moving around the body, sometimes touching it, and then eventually dispersing. John Marsluff, the same researcher who studied face recognition, investigated this behavior carefully. His team presented crows with taxidermied crow specimens in various contexts, as well as paired with taxidermied hawks and other stimuli. What they found was that crows responded to a dead crow differently than to almost any other stimulus. The gathering, the calling, the intense focused attention was specific to the sight of a dead member of their species. The working theory is that crow funerals serve a practical function. The gathering allows crows to learn about potential dangers. If a crow is dead in a particular spot, something killed it. By coming together, by calling, by attending closely to the scene, the surviving crows are gathering information. What was nearby when this happened? What does danger look like here? Is this location safe? This is a remarkably sophisticated response to death. Not grief in the human sense, necessarily, but something that functions to protect the group. An active, social, information-gathering response to loss. But whether there is something more to it, something that goes beyond the practical, is a question researchers do not dismiss outright. Because the behavior, the gathering, the calling, the quiet attention, looks, from the outside, like mourning. We do not know what a crow experiences when it gathers around the body of another crow. We do not know if there is something it feels like to be a crow in that moment. What we know is that something happens, something recognizable, something that has been happening in crow society for a very, very long time. The breath moves slowly now. The chest rises and falls. Everything is calm. You are here, and you are safe, and you are resting. Crows sleep together in enormous roosts. During the day, a crow may be a solitary hunter or part of a small family group. But when evening comes, many species gather in communal roosts that can be staggering in scale. American crows are known for forming winter roosts that contain thousands, tens of thousands, and in some cases, hundreds of thousands of birds. The roosts build up gradually as the light fades. Crows from surrounding territories fly toward a central location, often a stand of trees in or near a town or city. They arrive in waves, making noise, wheeling in large loose flocks, settling into the trees, and then lifting off again as more birds arrive, until eventually the movement slows, and the trees are full, and the night settles in. Why do they gather this way? There are several theories, and most likely several reasons working together. Safety in numbers is one. A large group of birds can detect predators more easily and respond collectively. A single sleeping bird is more vulnerable than one among thousands. Shared warmth in cold weather is another. Bodies together generate and retain heat more effectively than isolated individuals. And information exchange may be a third reason. Researchers have proposed that roosts function as information centers. A crow that has had a successful day of foraging will return to the roost well-fed and energetic, and other crows may follow that bird in the morning, effectively getting a tip on where good food is located. The sound of a large crow roost settling in for the night is extraordinary. If you have ever been near one, you know. The calling builds and builds, overlapping voices, a kind of noisy communal conversation. And then, slowly, as darkness deepens, it quiets, until there is just the occasional sound, a single call in the dark, a rustle of feathers, and then silence. Thousands of birds breathing together in the trees, all at rest, all together. Let yourself join that quiet for a moment. Settle in, rest among the branches. There is nothing to do, nothing to solve, nothing to tend to tonight. Just rest. Crows cache food, and they do it with a sophistication that still astonishes researchers. Many birds and mammals hide food for later. This is not unusual. Squirrels do it. Jays do it. Various other corvids do it. But crows, and particularly western scrub jays, which are close corvid relatives, do it in ways that reveal a kind of mental sophistication that touches on some deep questions about the nature of memory and time. Crows remember where they have hidden food. not approximately, not in a general sense. With remarkable precision, they can return to a specific cache location, sometimes after a period of weeks, and retrieve what they hid. In lab settings, this memory has been tested extensively, and the accuracy consistently impresses researchers. But there is more. Crows also keep track of what they hid and when. This matters because some foods decay. A worm buried on Monday will not be good to eat by the following Saturday. Crows appear to know this. They preferentially retrieve perishable items sooner than non-perishable ones. They seem to track not just location, but also the type of food and the time that has passed since it was hidden. This combination of what, where, and when is called episodic-like memory. It resembles the human ability to remember specific events in context, rather than just general fact. There is a related and even more astonishing layer to this. Crows also take into account whether they were watched. If a crow hides food while another crow is watching, it will sometimes wait until the observer leaves and then re-hide the food in a different location. It appears to understand that the watching crow knows where the food is, and that this represents a threat. The food could be stolen, so the crow moves it. This behavior only occurs in crows that have themselves stolen food from others. Crows who have never stolen food, those raised in isolation or otherwise without experience of theft, do not re-hide their caches when watched. But crows who have been thieves themselves understand the possibility of being stolen from, because they know what it is like to be on the other side. Researchers call this a theory of mind capacity, the ability to attribute mental states to others. To understand that another individual has knowledge and intentions of their own. It is one of the most complex cognitive abilities known in the animal kingdom, and crows appear to possess a form of it. Your thoughts are slowing now. That is good. That is the direction you want to go. Let them slow further, like leaves settling on still water, coming to rest. The crow keeps thinking, so you can let go. Crows play. This is one of the most immediately endearing facts about them, and it is documented well enough to be taken seriously as a behavioral phenomenon. Play, in the scientific sense, is behavior that is not immediately functional. It does not produce food or shelter or mates. It is done for its own sake, and it is most common in animals with large, complex brains. Young crows play constantly. They tumble with siblings. They grab objects and manipulate them with no apparent goal. They engage in what looks like mock combat, play chasing, and wrestling, with vocalizations that differ from their usual calls. Researchers observing young crows note a looseness and spontaneity to these interactions that looks, unmistakably, like play. But play is not limited to the young. Adult crows play too. There are numerous observations of adult crows performing what appear to be purely recreational behaviors. Sliding down snow-covered rooftops, dropping objects from height and diving to catch them before they land, hanging upside down from branches with no apparent purpose, riding on the backs of other animals, including deer, sheep, and even a bald eagle, in a way that the other animal clearly does not appreciate, but the crow does not seem deterred by. Ravens, the close corvid cousins of crows, have been observed playing in wind. They fly into strong gusts and let themselves be blown backward, then circle around and do it again and again, for extended periods, with no function that anyone has been able to identify except that it appears to be simply fun. What does play mean for an animal? It means, at minimum, that the animal has enough cognitive surplus to engage in behavior beyond immediate survival needs. And many researchers argue it means more. That it indicates curiosity, enjoyment, something that functions like joy. We cannot know for certain what a crow feels when it slides down a snowy roof for the third time. But the behavior itself is hard to explain any other way. Crows are also curious in the most straightforward sense. They investigate novel objects. They approach unfamiliar things cautiously but persistently, examining them from multiple angles, sometimes touching or manipulating them. This curiosity is not just practical, though it often serves them well in finding food or assessing threats. It seems to have its own momentum. The crow explores because something in it is drawn to the new, the unusual, the interesting. There is a quality to crow behavior, seen clearly in both their play and their curiosity, that feels recognizable. Not because crows are like humans. They are not. But because beneath the very different form, there is something that rhymes with what we know. A mind that finds the world interesting, that seeks out novelty, that can be, in its own way, playful. Your body is very heavy now. In the best way. The kind of heaviness that comes from being completely at rest. Let the weight spread through you, through your arms, your hands, your fingertips, through your hips, your legs, your feet. Everything softening, everything settling. Crows have complex social structures. They live in what researchers describe as a fission-fusion society. This means the social group is flexible. At some times, individuals or small family units are relatively separated, doing their own foraging, managing their own territories. At other times, they come together in larger groups, in winter roosts, at abundant food sources, in response to shared threats. The group is real and coherent, but it is not rigidly structured. It breathes in and out, contracting and expanding, depending on what the moment requires. Within crow families, the social bonds are close and lasting. We have already seen that helpers, often older offspring, assist in raising younger siblings. But this cooperation extends beyond the nest. Crow families recognize and maintain long-term relationships with one another. They recognize individual family members even after extended separations. They support one another in conflicts with other crows. They share food, though not always willingly, and with a kind of negotiated complexity that researchers are still working to understand. Outside the family, crows also have relationships with non-relatives. There are friends, in a loose sense. Individual crows that associate consistently with one another, that engage in allopreening, which is the mutual preening of another's feathers, a behavior that in many social animals serves as a bonding and tension-reducing mechanism. There are also rivals, birds with whom the relationships are consistently tense or competitive. And crows remember who is who. They track individual identities within a complex social web, and navigate that web with what appears to be considerable social sophistication. Crow politics, if we can call it that, involves alliances and hierarchies. Dominant birds have access to better food sources and preferred roost locations. Lower-ranking birds find ways to work around dominance, sometimes through stealth, sometimes through coalition. Two lower-ranking birds together can sometimes successfully challenge a dominant one. The social calculus is ongoing, constantly shifting, and crows track it with the same precision they apply to every other aspect of their world. Breathe out slowly, all the way out. Then let the breath return on its own. You do not need to control it. Your body knows how to breathe. It has always known. Just rest inside that rhythm. Crows communicate in ways we are still learning to understand. We know they have at least 25 distinct calls. We know there are regional dialects. We know that they modulate pitch and rhythm and repetition to convey different meanings. But the full depth of crow communication is something researchers are still working to map. What is clear is that crows are not simply making noise. Their vocalizations carry information. They communicate about specific threats, about the identity of those threats, about food, location, about social status and relationships. And the birds around them decode those signals rapidly, accurately, and respond accordingly. Body language is also part of how crows communicate. The posture of a crow carries meaning. A fluffed, upright crow is different from a sleek, crouched one. The position of the wings, the orientation of the head, the state of the feathers around the throat. These are all elements of a visual vocabulary that other crows read and respond to. And there is something beyond calls and body language, something subtler. Researchers studying crow groups have noted that information appears to flow through the group in ways that are not fully explained by direct communication. A crow at the edge of the group notices something. A ripple of attention moves through the group. Birds that could not have seen or heard what the first crow noticed begin orienting toward it. How does information travel that quickly through a group of animals that do not share a language? The answer seems to be a kind of cascading attention. Each bird watches the birds around it as much as it watches the environment itself, and responds to changes in attention as a signal. The group functions, in a sense, as a distributed sensing system. Many eyes, many ears, feeding into a shared awareness. There is something almost meditative about this. The way the crow group moves as something larger than its individual members. The way each bird's awareness feeds into and is shaped by the awareness of the whole. A kind of distributed attention. A collective mind made of many small minds. Your mind is growing quieter now. The thoughts that pass are light and brief. They come, and then they go. You do not need to hold any of them. Just let them move through like birds across a pale sky, here and then gone. Crows have been part of human culture and mythology for as long as there is a record of human culture and mythology. In Norse tradition, the god Odin was accompanied by two ravens named Hugin and Munin. The names translate roughly to thought and memory. These birds flew across the world each day and returned to whisper what they had seen into Odin's ears. They were his eyes, his intelligence gatherers, the embodiment of knowledge and perception flying through the world. The choice of corvids for this role was not arbitrary. The people who built these stories lived close to ravens and crows. They watched them. They noticed the intelligence. They built it into their understanding of the divine. In many indigenous traditions of the Pacific Northwest, Raven is the trickster and creator, a being of enormous cleverness and appetite, responsible in many stories for bringing light to the world, for shaping the land, for stealing and gifting and transforming. Raven is neither purely good nor purely bad. Raven is curious, unpredictable, chaotic, and powerful. A force that cannot be easily categorized. This character maps interestingly onto what we actually observe in corvid behavior. The intelligence, the curiosity, the opportunism, the occasional theft. In Japanese culture, the crow has long been associated with the sun and with good fortune. The yatagarasu, a mythical three-legged crow, is a symbol of divine guidance and moral authority. The crow's intelligence and its presence near human settlements made it a natural subject for stories that attributed to it a kind of wisdom or supernatural perception. In ancient Rome, crows were associated with the god Apollo and were kept as messenger birds. Pliny the Elder wrote about the intelligence of corvids with evident admiration. The natural history texts of the ancient world return again and again to the crow as an example of animal cleverness. Aesop's fable of the crow and the pitcher, in which a crow that cannot reach water in a tall jug adds stones one by one to raise the water level, has been celebrated as a symbol of ingenuity. And remarkably, that fable was confirmed experimentally in 2009 when researchers demonstrated that rooks, the European corvid relatives of crows, do exactly this in laboratory conditions. They drop stones into tubes of water to raise the level and retrieve floating food. Life imitating myth, or perhaps myth, remembered from centuries of careful watching. The association of crows with death and omens is also widespread across many cultures. In European tradition, a crow or raven at the window was sometimes seen as a sign of coming death. In many traditions, corvids are birds of the in-between, associated with thresholds, transitions, the boundary between the living and the dead. This association likely arose from the crow's natural behavior. Crows are carrion feeders. They appear where things die. In the time before germ theory, before an understanding of what disease was and how it spread, the crow gathering before a death would have seemed predictive. An omen, a sign. But the crow was simply doing what crows do. Paying attention, being present, watching. The weight of your eyelids is natural now. There is no need to fight it. Just let them close. Let the darkness behind them be soft, comfortable, welcoming. You are moving towards sleep, slowly and gently, like a boat drifting from shore. The eyes of a crow are extraordinary. A crow's eye is large relative to its head, and it is positioned on the side of the skull, giving the bird a wide field of monocular vision. Each eye can see a broad arc independently, but crows also have a narrow range of binocular vision at the front, where the visual fields overlap. This binocular zone is used for tasks that require depth perception, like catching objects or examining something closely. What crows see is not what we see. Their visual system includes sensitivity to ultraviolet light. Humans cannot see ultraviolet. For us, a crow's black feathers are black. But in ultraviolet wavelengths, those feathers are patterned with markings we cannot perceive. Crows can see these markings. They may use them to assess the health, age, or identity of other crows. The crow you see as uniformly black, the crow sees differently, as something richer, more varied, more informative. Crows also have excellent color vision. Their retinas contain 4 types of cone cells, compared to the 3 that humans have. This tetrachromacy gives them a visual experience of the world that we can only approximate. More colors, more distinctions, more visual information from any given scene. And crows use this vision with great acuity. In experiments testing visual discrimination, crows have proven capable of distinguishing between highly similar patterns and shapes with a precision that rivals or exceeds many tested primates. They notice changes in their environment. They detect subtle differences that would escape casual human attention. A crow that visits your yard regularly is not just vaguely aware of the general scene. It has a detailed, precise mental map of that environment, and it notices immediately when anything changes. There is something quietly extraordinary about being seen so precisely, by something that also sees colors you cannot perceive, that processes ultraviolet information from its own species, that maps its world in far more detail than most people realize. The crow looking at you sees something you cannot fully imagine. The breath comes and goes, in and out, so easy, so natural. The darkness behind your eyes is soft and welcoming. You are resting, deeply. Crows use insight rather than only trial and error. This is one of the more philosophically interesting aspects of crow cognition. Much animal learning happens through a process of trial and error. Try something, fail, adjust, try again. Eventually arrive at the solution through repetition and reinforcement. This kind of learning is effective but slow, and it does not require understanding, just persistence and memory. Insight, on the other hand, is the sudden solving of a problem without a period of trial and error. It is the aha moment, the sudden mental reorganization that allows a new solution to emerge. Insight was long thought to be a uniquely human capacity. Then it was observed in great apes, and then, much more recently, in crows. In one study, New Caledonian crows were given multi-step problems they had never encountered before. Some solved them on the first attempt, without prior experience of the components, suggesting that they had reasoned through the problem rather than learned their way through it. The bird paused, appeared to assess the situation, and then acted directly and correctly. This is insight, something clicking into place in the mind before the body moves. Causal understanding is related to this. Crows appear to understand that certain actions cause certain outcomes, not as learned associations, but as a kind of causal model of how the world works. When presented with novel devices and mechanisms they have never seen, crows can sometimes work out how they function through observation alone before touching them. They watch how something moves. They appear to model it, and then they act. What this suggests is that the crow's mind is not just a storehouse of learned associations. It contains something like a model of physical causality, a rough internal map of how things work. That map allows the crow to reason about novel situations, to predict outcomes before testing them, to understand rather than only to learn. The quiet of late night has a particular quality. You know it if you have ever been awake at this hour, when most other people are asleep and the world outside is still. There is a softness to that quiet, a particular kind of peace. Rest inside it now. Breathe in it. Let it hold you. Crows can recognize themselves in mirrors. Or at least, there is compelling evidence that some corvids can, though the picture is nuanced. The mirror self-recognition test, often called the mirror test, involves marking an animal on a part of its body it cannot see directly, then observing whether it uses a mirror to investigate that mark. Animals that pass this test are generally considered to have some form of self-awareness. Humans pass it. Great apes pass it. Dolphins pass it. Elephants pass it. And magpies, the corvid relatives of crows, have passed it. For crows, the evidence is somewhat less clear-cut, partly because their visual system is so different from ours that standard test protocols may not translate perfectly. But crows have shown consistent interest in their own reflections that goes beyond mere curiosity about another bird. Some behaviors suggest recognition of self. Some suggest uncertainty. And researchers continue to work on this question, developing better methods suited to the crow's particular sensory world. What this line of research points toward is something profound. If a crow can recognize itself in a mirror, it has a model of itself as a distinct entity. It knows that the reflection is its own image. It can locate itself in a visual field. This kind of self-concept is not just a curiosity of comparative psychology. It is connected to theory of mind, to social reasoning, to the entire architecture of crow cognition that we have been exploring. A creature that understands itself as a distinct entity can also understand that other creatures are distinct entities, with their own perspectives and knowledge and intentions. The crow is, in this sense, not just a very clever bird. It is a creature with an inner life, complex enough to include something that functions like a sense of self. What that is like from the inside. What it is like to be a crow. is a question we cannot answer. But the question itself is no longer absurd to ask. Your mind is very quiet now. The thoughts that remain are soft and infrequent, like the last sounds before the roost falls silent. One call, a rustle, and then quiet. You are almost there. Crows live surprisingly long lives. In the wild, American crows can live to be 7 or 8 years old, sometimes longer. The oldest known wild American crow on record lived to be nearly 30 years old. That is an extraordinary lifespan for a bird of that size. In captivity, with protection from predation and the stresses of wildlife, crows have lived well into their 20s. A long life, in evolutionary terms, generally correlates with slow reproduction and high parental investment. And this is precisely the crow's strategy. They do not produce many eggs. They invest heavily in each offspring. They spend years teaching, and the young birds spend years learning. The long life is necessary to make this work. There is simply too much to learn, too much social complexity to navigate, too many skills to develop for a short-lived animal. This slow life pace is connected to intelligence in what researchers believe is a genuine causal relationship. Large brains require time to develop. Highly complex behavior requires time to learn. Social relationships require time to build and maintain. The crow's life is structured around the luxury of time, of slow learning, of accumulated experience, of relationships that deepen over years. When you watch an old crow, a bird that has been alive for several years, you are watching something that has accumulated a rich map of the world. That knows its territory intimately, knows its social group in depth, knows the patterns of seasons and the behaviors of predators and the best feeding locations over a wide area. It carries all of this with it. A library of experience accumulated in a black feathered body on a telephone wire. Crows also adapt remarkably well to new environments and new challenges. This adaptability is one reason they thrive in human-dominated landscapes. Where many species struggle when their habitat is altered by human activity, crows tend to do well. They are generalists, able to eat an enormous variety of foods. They are opportunists, able to exploit new resources as they become available. They are learners, able to develop new behaviors in response to new conditions. Urban crows face challenges that would have been completely foreign to their ancestors. Cars, electrical infrastructure, human buildings as nesting sites, food waste, novel predators, complex noise environments. And they navigate all of it, not just tolerating the urban landscape, but using it. Cracking nuts with cars, nesting on building ledges, finding food in complex human waste streams, learning the rhythms of human activity and working within them. This flexibility is itself a cognitive achievement. Adapting to a new environment requires the ability to learn new rules, to abandon learned habits that no longer work, to develop new strategies from scratch. Crows do this across lifetimes, and they do it across generations, with information about new environments passing culturally from one generation to the next. The night is deep now. deep and still and very comfortable. The breath is so natural and easy, coming and going, coming and going. You do not need to do anything. You just need to be here. In this quiet, in this dark. Crows in cold climates face winter with a kind of problem-solving dignity. In regions where winters are long and hard, crows must manage the challenge of finding food when the ground is frozen, when the usual food sources are buried under snow, when the days are short and cold burns calories fast. They do this through a combination of strategies, some instinctive and some learned. Caching becomes especially important in winter. Throughout the autumn, crows intensify their food-hiding behavior, building up stores against the lean months ahead. They remember their caches with remarkable accuracy, even under snow. They know where they buried something months ago. They can find it again. Large communal winter roosts also help with winter survival. There is warmth in numbers, and information about food sources flows through the roost. A crow that has had a productive day foraging will attract followers the next morning. The group is better at finding food in hard times than any individual would be alone. Crows also form a kind of collective memory around seasonal patterns. A crow family that has survived many winters in a particular territory has accumulated detailed knowledge of where food tends to be available in cold months, which farmyards tend to have accessible grain, which areas thaw early, which garbage collection routes run on which days. This knowledge is real and specific, and younger members of the family acquire it by following older ones. The winter is hard. The crow manages it with intelligence. There is something in the crow's winter behavior that touches on something very human. The gathering of stores, the huddling together for warmth, the sharing of information, the reliance on accumulated experience to navigate difficult times. These are not metaphors for human behavior. They are just the crow, doing what the crow does. But they rhyme with something we recognize. The crow has been our neighbor for a very long time. Longer than most people think. Long enough to be woven into our myths and stories. Long enough to be recognized across many cultures as something special. Long enough that the relationship between crows and humans, whatever it is, feels old and layered and strangely mutual. Sleep is very close now. You can feel it at the edges, the warm darkness of it, the softness. Let yourself move toward it. There is nothing to resist, nothing to hold on to, just the quiet drift. Crows experience what may be emotions. This is a delicate area of research, because emotions in animals are difficult to verify with certainty. We cannot ask an animal what it feels. We can only observe its behavior and physiology and draw inferences. But the inferences from crow research are suggestive enough that leading researchers in animal cognition take them seriously. Crows show physiological stress responses, elevated cortisol, behavioral changes in situations that would cause distress in humans. Separation from partners, threat to offspring, social exclusion. The body responds. There is something happening that goes beyond simple learned avoidance. Crows show what appears to be positive affect, which is the scientific term for something that functions like good feeling, in contexts of play, successful problem-solving, and social bonding. The bird playing in the snow, sliding and returning to slide again, is not distressed. It is doing something that produces, in whatever form it takes in a crow's nervous system, something that keeps it coming back for more. There is evidence from corvid research, including research on rooks and ravens, that these birds can be affected by the emotional states of their companions. A companion that shows distress may produce behavioral changes in a nearby bird. A companion that is feeding calmly may have a calming effect. This kind of emotional contagion, the spreading of affective states between individuals, is a precursor to empathy. It is the foundation from which more complex forms of caring for others can develop. None of this proves that crows are conscious in the way humans are conscious. That question remains open, as it does for all animals, perhaps even for humans when rigorously examined. But it suggests that the inner world of a crow is not empty, that there is something it is like to be a crow, navigating a world it understands with intelligence, in relationships it values, across a life it experiences in ways we are only beginning to glimpse. A crow perched in a tree at dusk is not just a black shape against the fading sky. It is a creature with a history, with relationships, with memories, with a complex inner world, looking out at the same darkening world we look at, from a vantage point we cannot fully imagine. The night is very still. The room is quiet. Your breath is slow and deep. Everything outside this moment can wait. Everything can wait until morning. There is only this: the quiet, the dark, the slow and easy breath. Crows navigate with precision over large distances. Though they do not migrate in the way that many bird species do, crows range widely within their home territories and have a detailed spatial knowledge of large areas. Research using GPS tracking has revealed that individual crows cover surprisingly large distances in their daily movements, especially in winter when they travel to and from communal roosts. And they navigate these movements with precision, taking efficient routes, remembering landmarks, adapting to changes in the landscape. Crows use a variety of navigational cues. Visual landmarks are important. They map their territories in detail and use prominent features to orient. Magnetic sensing may also play a role, as it does in many bird species, allowing orientation even without visible landmarks. And social information is part of it too, following other crows who know the way, or who have found food, or who are returning from somewhere that seems productive. There is something poetic about the crow's relationship with space. It knows the world differently than we do. It sees it from above, from below, from the vantage of perches and roosts and soaring flight. It has a three-dimensional map of its world that is rich with detail, with memory, with social information. The world of the crow is the same physical world we occupy, but experienced from a completely different perspective, at a different scale, through different senses, with a different kind of intelligence. To sit quietly in a place where crows live is, if you attend to it, to become aware that the world you think you are in is also somebody else's world entirely. A crow owns that space in a way that is different from how you experience it, but no less real. It knows its history and its social web and its resources and its dangers. It is at home there, fully and completely, in ways that have nothing to do with human presence or absence. The crow was there before you arrived, and in many cases, it will be there after you leave. The night is full of quiet now, the kind of quiet that has texture to it, a soft, deep, welcoming dark. Your body knows how to rest. It is doing it right now. Let yourself trust that. Let the knowing be enough. Crows molt once a year. In late summer, after the demands of breeding season are over, crows go through a complete molt. Every feather is replaced. Old and worn feathers fall out and new ones grow in their place. The process is gradual. Not all feathers are replaced at once, which would leave the bird unable to fly. Instead, the molt progresses in a sequence, with different feather tracts replaced at different times, so that the bird retains the ability to fly and thermoregulate throughout. After the molt, the crow's feathers are fresh and perfect. The iridescence is at its most vivid. The black has depth to it. And in the right light, the purple and green and blue tones that exist within the black become visible in a way they were not when the feathers were worn. A crow in fresh molt is a beautiful thing, if you take the time to look. Not beautiful in the conventional sense of bright color or elaborate form. Beautiful in a quieter way. The way a deep and flawless black is beautiful. The way simplicity, when it is also perfect, is beautiful. There is something meditative about the fact that the crow renews itself this way each year, replacing everything, starting again with fresh feathers, carrying all its knowledge and memory and relationships forward, but wearing them in new feathers. The crow continues, and the crow renews, both at once. Crows have a third eyelid. It is called the nictitating membrane. It is a translucent film that sweeps across the eye from the inner corner outward. Many birds have this. It serves to clean and protect the eye without blocking vision entirely. When a crow drinks, or when it is flying through brush, or when it is bending close to examine something, the nictitating membrane may flick across the eye. From the outside, it looks like a pale veil briefly crossing the darkness of the eye, a ghost of a blink. This small detail, the third eyelid, is one of many ways the crow's body reveals its deep difference from us. For all the cognitive similarities, all the parallels in memory and social intelligence and problem-solving, the crow is built differently. It perceives differently. It moves through the world differently. The similarities we find are convergences. Different paths arriving at similar solutions to the problems of being a complex social creature in a complex world. This convergence is its own kind of marvel. That creatures as different as humans and crows, separated by hundreds of millions of years of independent evolution, should arrive at overlapping cognitive strategies. that the problems of surviving in a social world, of remembering who knows what, of planning ahead, of building relationships that last, should produce similar kinds of minds. Different minds, but rhyming. The great dark of the night is completely quiet now. You are at rest in it. Your body has given itself over to the bed completely, heavy and still, and warm. The crow perches somewhere in the dark outside, eyes closed, feathers fluffed, resting, just as you are resting. Crows have been studied in the context of decision-making under uncertainty. This is a question that matters in economics, in psychology, in neuroscience, and increasingly in the study of animal behavior. How does a creature decide what to do when the outcome is not certain? When one choice might produce a large reward, but might also produce nothing, while another choice guarantees a smaller reward. Crows, like humans, show complex patterns in how they handle these trade-offs. They are not simply maximizing expected value in a purely mathematical sense. They are sensitive to context, to recent experience, to their current state, whether they are hungry or sated, stressed or relaxed. Their choices shift with circumstances, which is exactly what you would expect from a creature with a rich inner model of the world and of its own current needs. In one line of research, corvids were tested on their sensitivity to social information in decision-making. If a high-status bird chose option A and avoided option B, did other crows use this as information? Yes. They adjusted their own choices accordingly. They used the observed decisions of others as a guide. Social learning, again, is deeply woven into everything the crow does. The crow does not live in a world of raw sensation. It lives in a world that is rich with social meaning, filtered through relationships, through memory, through expectations built up over time. The world a crow sees is a social world, as deeply social as our own in its way. There is a particular peacefulness that comes in the deepest part of the night, when everything outside is still and the only sounds are the small sounds of a house settling, or the distant murmur of something very far away. The body knows, this time. It was made for this rest. Every cell in you knows how to do this. Just let it happen. Just let go. A crow's call is not simple. We began with this, and it is worth returning to it, because the more you know about crows, the more layered that sound becomes. That call, repeated and carrying, is not just noise. It is part of a complex vocal system that includes at least 25 described call types, regional variation, and possibly much more that has not yet been described. The core itself varies. A rapid series of cores means something different from a slow, spaced series. A high core differs from a low one. The length of the call, the number of repetitions, the presence of other vocalizations before or after, all of these modulate the meaning. Crows attending to a call from another crow are processing all of these variables. They know the voice. They know whether it is a familiar individual or a stranger. They pass the structure of the call. for its content, and they respond appropriately. Among the most evocative crow vocalizations is one that researchers sometimes call the rattle call. It is a low, complex sound, quite different from the usual caw, used in close social contact between individuals that know each other well. Partners, family members. It is a private sound. A sound that belongs to a relationship. Not loud, not carrying, meant only for the crow nearby. If you have ever sat very still somewhere crows live and been quiet enough, long enough, you might have heard this. The low, intimate sounds that crows make to one another when they are close and at ease. It is a completely different sound from the caw. Softer, more varied, more complex. It is the sound of two crows who know each other well, sitting together in the late afternoon, in an easy, comfortable quiet. The sound of crows settling into the roost at dusk is something different again. It begins with many voices, overlapping and overlapping, a communal noise that fills the trees. And then, gradually, it thins. One voice, two voices, a long pause, one last call, and then silence. The roost at rest. That silence, after the noise, after the gathering, after all the social complexity of the day, is enormous and very peaceful. Slide into that silence now, into the dark behind your eyes. The body is very heavy, very warm, very still. Sleep is here. It has been waiting for you, and you have arrived. Crows live with uncertainty and manage it with intelligence. Every day for a crow involves decisions made with incomplete information. Where is the food today? Where is the threat? What are the other crows doing? What has changed since yesterday? The crow moves through a world that is not fixed or predictable, and it manages that uncertainty not by retreating from it, but by learning from it, by paying attention, by updating its model of the world as new information arrives. This constant updating, this readiness to revise what it knows in light of what it discovers, is one of the hallmarks of intelligence. Not rigid adherence to fixed responses, not simple reaction to immediate stimuli, but active, ongoing, intelligent engagement with a complex and changing world. The crow's life is not easy. Winter is hard. Predators are real. Competition for resources is constant. The world the crow lives in demands vigilance and adaptability and intelligence. And the crow meets those demands. Day after day, year after year, with a competence that looks, from the outside, very much like mastery. There is something comforting in this, in the image of the crow going about its difficult, intelligent, socially rich life, in knowing that somewhere out there, in the dark of a winter tree, thousands of crows are roosting together, warm and close, having navigated another day of their complex and demanding and remarkably full lives. Resting now, replenishing, ready to do it all again tomorrow. And you are resting too. Replenishing, in your own warm and safe place, letting the day go, letting the night hold you. You have done enough today. You have managed whatever needed managing. You have thought what needed to be thought. And now, like the crow in the roost, it is time to let all of that go and simply rest. Crows have a relationship with other species that is fascinating and complex. They are not, by any measure, birds that exist only in relation to other crows. They exist in a web of relationships that includes many other species, and they navigate those relationships with the same intelligence they bring to everything else. Ravens and crows occupy overlapping territories in many parts of the world, and their relationship is complicated. Ravens are larger. Crows are more numerous and more cooperative in the defense of shared space. In areas where both species live, there is a constant low-level tension. Crows will mob ravens. Ravens will take food from crows. The dynamic shifts with numbers and circumstances. But there is also, sometimes, something that looks more like coexistence. Individual ravens and crows have been observed foraging in proximity without apparent conflict. The relationship is not simple. It is managed case by case, individual by individual. Crows and ravens both have long relationships with wolves and other large predators. In the wild landscapes of North America and Europe, corvids have been observed following wolf packs. The wolves' kills provide food for the birds, and there is some evidence that the birds may return the favor, calling in ways that alert the wolves to prey animals the wolves might not have found on their own. Whether this constitutes a true mutualistic relationship, a genuine two-way benefit, is still being studied. But the regularity of the association, the fact that both species seem to track and respond to one another, suggests something more than coincidence. Crows also have established and well-documented relationships with great horned owls. The owl is one of the crow's most significant predators. It hunts at night when crows are roosting and most vulnerable. And crows know this. A great horned owl discovered during the day is a major event in the life of any crow community. The discovery triggers immediate, intense mobbing behavior. Crows gather from a wide area, calling, diving, harassing the owl relentlessly. The goal appears to be to drive the owl out of the territory, or at minimum to announce its presence so thoroughly that any advantage of surprise is lost. The calling during a mob is loud and persistent. It draws in crows from areas that could not see the owl directly. The sound of the alarm call itself is enough. And once enough crows have gathered, the owl typically gives up and moves on. The cost to any individual crow is low. The collective benefit is high. Another elegant solution from a bird that is very good at elegant solutions. Crows are also known to associate with other bird species in ways that are mutually beneficial. They have been observed following tractors and other farm machinery, picking up invertebrates disturbed by the machinery. They follow deer and other large mammals through tall grass or snow, capturing the small animals flushed by the larger creatures' movements. They gather around activity wherever activity is likely to expose food. Alert, opportunistic, always ready. Your eyes are closed now, or nearly so. The heaviness is complete and comfortable. There is nothing more to attend to. The crow tends its world. You tend to your rest. Crows have appeared in literature and poetry for as long as humans have been writing things down. The crow's presence in human cultural life is not incidental. It reflects a long and close observation of a bird that is genuinely difficult to ignore. Crows demand attention. Their intelligence is visible. Their behavior is complex enough to be interesting even to a casual observer. And their willingness to live near humans, to occupy the same spaces, to watch and be watched, has made them central characters in the human imagining of the natural world. Edgar Allan Poe's poem, The Raven, is perhaps the most famous literary treatment of a corvid. The poem is not about crows specifically, but about a raven, which the speaker eventually comes to believe is supernatural. The raven's persistent repetition of a single word, its uncanny presence, its apparent intelligence, drives the narrator toward madness. What makes the poem work is that the crow's actual behavior, the watchfulness, the apparent attention, the complex vocalization, is uncanny enough to be genuinely unsettling when described with the right attention. Poe was not making up a fantastical creature. He was drawing on a very real bird and its very real qualities and pushing them slightly further into the dark. In Japanese haiku and Chinese poetry, crows appear as symbols of late autumn, of the end of the day, of the edge between warmth and cold. The image of a crow on a bare branch in fading light is a recurring one in East Asian poetry. It captures something about the quality of that moment. The stillness after the activity of the day, the dark shape against the pale sky, the sense of something watchful in the gathering dark. In the British Isles, there is a long tradition of counting crows as an omen. The old rhyme about counting magpies, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, has versions that apply to crows and rooks as well. The idea that the number of corvids you see carries meaning is one of those cultural artifacts that has persisted across centuries without losing its grip on the imagination. Even people who do not believe in omens often find themselves automatically counting the crows on a wire. The habit runs deep. Shakespeare used crows and ravens extensively as dramatic devices. The raven in Macbeth speaks of the fatal entrance of Duncan under the battlements. Corvids appear in Othello, in The Tempest, in The Merchant of Venice. They are associated with darkness, with the supernatural, with things that cannot be easily said. Shakespeare used them because his audience knew them, because the associations were already there, deep in the cultural memory of people who had lived close to these birds for generations. Ted Hughes, the British poet, wrote an entire sequence of poems called Crow. In these poems, Crow is not a specific bird, but a mythological figure, part trickster, part survivor, part dark intelligence at the heart of creation. Hughes drew on the corvid's actual qualities, its toughness, its adaptability, its refusal to be sentimentalized, and built from them a figure that could speak to something raw and honest about existence. The crow as a creature that endures, that survives, that looks at the difficult facts of the world without flinching. This is part of what makes the crow so compelling as a cultural figure. It is not gentle. It is not beautiful in the conventional way. It eats dead things. It is loud. It steals. It thrives in difficult conditions. It is entirely itself, without apology, without any of the qualities that make an animal easy to sentimentalize. And yet it is also intelligent, social, loyal to its partners, a devoted parent, a keeper of relationships. It contains contradictions that feel true to something. Let the breath deepen one more time. Long and slow. All the way in, all the way out. Let the last of the day dissolve in that breath. Let the night receive you completely. The crow's intelligence has consequences for how we understand intelligence itself. For a long time, the assumption in science was that higher cognition, the kind involving planning, self-awareness, theory of mind, and causal reasoning, was possible only in animals with a brain structure resembling the mammalian neocortex. The neocortex is the layered outer part of the mammalian brain, particularly developed in primates and humans, and associated with the most complex cognitive functions we know of. Birds do not have a neocortex. Their brains are organized differently. When anatomists first compared bird and mammal brains, they concluded that bird brains were more primitive, less capable, more instinct-driven. The phrase bird-brained entered the language as an insult, meaning simple or stupid or unthinking. Then crows started solving multi-step problems, planning ahead, recognizing faces, exhibiting theory of mind, and the old assumption had to be revisited. What researchers found, looking more carefully at corvid brain anatomy, is that the avian brain has its own region associated with higher cognition, called the nidopallium caudolateral. It is not homologous to the neocortex. It did not evolve from the same ancestral structure, but it appears to perform similar functions. It supports flexible, learned, context-sensitive behavior. It is the part of the brain that lights up when a crow is engaged in a complex problem. This is a profound finding. It means that complex intelligence is not tied to a particular brain structure. It can arise from different architectures, through different evolutionary paths, in bodies as different as a primate and a bird. Intelligence is not one thing with one way of existing. It is a capacity that life has found multiple routes to. The crow's brain and the human brain arrived at similar capabilities through completely different evolutionary histories. Similar solutions, different paths, life finding its way. This matters for how we think about the distribution of mind in the natural world. If complex intelligence can arise through different brain architectures in evolutionarily distant lineages, then there may be forms of intelligence, of awareness, of something like inner experience, in places and forms we have not yet thought to look for them. The crow taught us to look more carefully, and what we found when we looked changed the way we understand the nature of mind itself. The mind slows, as minds do at this hour. The thoughts that remain are loose and light. They do not demand attention. They float and drift and fade. There is just the quiet now, the deep and restful quiet of the late night. Crows and humans have been watching each other for a very long time. What began as a practical relationship, crows following human settlements for the food scraps and disturbance that human activity provides, has become something more layered. Crows have adapted to human presence in extraordinary ways. They use our infrastructure. They learn our patterns. They exploit our waste. They build their nests in our buildings. They crack their nuts with our cars. And we have adapted to them too. In a cultural sense, we have incorporated them into our stories and our myths. We have given them meaning. We have written poems about them and built gods with them at their shoulders. We have found in them something that mirrors, in a strange and distorted way, something about ourselves. The intelligence, the social complexity, the long memory, the capacity for what might be called feeling. This mutual watching, this long history of two intelligent species sharing a world and noticing one another, has produced something. Not a friendship? Exactly. Though it can become one. Not a partnership? Exactly. Though it has elements of that too. Something harder to name. A kind of mutual acknowledgement. An awareness of being seen. On both sides. When a crow looks at you, it is genuinely looking, processing information, making assessments, deciding what you are and what you intend, and whether you are a threat or an opportunity or simply a neutral presence to be noted and filed away. And when you look back, if you look with some knowledge of what you are looking at, you are looking at something that is doing exactly the same thing. Two intelligences in the same place, at the same moment, attending to one another, separated by everything that separates a human from a crow, and connected, briefly, by that mutual attention. It is one of the simplest things in the world, and one of the most extraordinary. The breath is so gentle now, so natural and slow. You are not thinking about breathing. It is simply happening. The body knows exactly what to do. The body has always known. Trust it. Rest inside it. Let everything else go. There are crows somewhere near you tonight. In the roosting trees, in the city park, in the edge of the wood at the end of the road, in whatever patch of trees or wires or rooftops has become their familiar resting place. They are settled in the dark, feathers fluffed against the temperature, eyes closed, breathing slow. If there are many of them together, they are warm. The collective body heat of many birds in one tree is substantial. They lean into it, into the warmth of each other, into the safety of numbers, into rest. And somewhere in the roost, an older crow sleeps. A bird that has seen many winters, that knows this territory as well as it is possible to know a place. That has raised young and found food in hard times and navigated complex social dynamics with something that looks, from the outside, very much like wisdom. This old crow sleeps, warm and safe in the center of the roost, surrounded by birds that know it. And it does not dream, perhaps, or perhaps it does. We do not know. What we know is that the crow will wake tomorrow, and it will fly, and it will watch, and it will remember, and it will navigate with characteristic intelligence and composure the complex and beautiful world it lives in. The same world you live in, seen from a different angle, with different eyes, but the same world. There is comfort in that. In the knowledge that the world is full of minds, that even on a quiet, ordinary street, the air above is occupied by intelligence, that the crow on the wire is not just a decoration of the landscape, but a thinking, feeling, remembering creature going about its rich and complex life. The world is more alive than it looks, more full, more various, more interesting. And the crow, perhaps more than any other common creature, makes that truth visible. Rest now. Completely. Without reservation. Without holding anything back. The night is full and the dark is soft, and you are exactly where you are meant to be. Crows have a sense of time that goes beyond simple circadian rhythm. All animals have some form of internal clock, a biological sense of the cycle of light and dark, of day and night, that regulates sleep and waking and feeding. But crows appear to have something beyond this, a sense of time that is more like a calendar than a clock. The evidence comes partly from their caching behavior. We have already seen that crows track when they hid food. But the temporal sophistication goes further. Crows appear to anticipate future events. They plan for future states that differ from their current one. In experiments where corvids were trained to expect particular conditions in the future, hungry in the morning and full in the evening, for example, they adjusted their caching behavior in the present to prepare for those future states. They cached more food in the place associated with morning when they knew they would be hungry then, even when they were currently full and had no immediate need. This is planning, not in a vague, general way, but in a specific, future-oriented way that requires holding a mental model of a future state and acting in the present to prepare for it. For a long time, this kind of future-oriented planning was thought to require language, the ability to talk to yourself about the future, to articulate mentally what has not yet happened. Crows do not have language, and yet they plan, which tells us that the mental operations underlying planning may not require language after all. They may be more ancient, more fundamental, more widely distributed through the animal kingdom than we imagined. The crow's ability to plan also connects to its remarkable flexibility. A crow that can model the future is not locked into responding only to what is currently in front of it. It can act now for reasons that will only become apparent later. It can take a long view. It can make investments whose returns are not immediate. This temporal reach, this ability to think beyond the present moment, is one of the things that makes the crow's intelligence feel, in some moments, strikingly familiar. Sleep is like a kind of planning too. You lie down now to be ready for tomorrow. You give your body and mind the rest they need, so that tomorrow you can think and move and engage with the world fully. The crow does the same, in its own way, roosting together, replenishing, ready. You and the crow, both investing in the future by resting now. The soft darkness continues. The body is very still. The mind is very quiet. There is just the breath now, and the dark, and the warmth. Crows show cultural transmission of behavior. We have touched on this in talking about face recognition passing through the group. But cultural transmission in crows goes wider than that. It includes the way tools are used, the techniques for accessing particular food sources, the spatial knowledge of a territory, the identity of threats and safe individuals, and the social norms of the group. Cultural transmission means that behaviors can spread through a population without any genetic change. A single crow discovers something useful. Others observe and imitate. The behavior spreads. Eventually, it is part of what every crow in that population does. But it is not in their genes. It is in their culture. And it can be lost just as easily. If a key individual who knows the technique disappears without passing it on, the behavior can vanish from the group. This makes crow populations dynamic in a way that goes beyond biology. Different groups in different areas may have developed different techniques for the same problem. Different solutions shaped by different histories. Different discoveries by different individuals, passed forward differently. The crow population is not genetically monolithic in its behavior. It is culturally varied. Researchers studying New Caledonian crows have found evidence that tool-making traditions vary between populations on different parts of the island. The precise shape of the tools differs. The technique of making them differs. These differences appear to reflect local traditions, learned knowledge passed down within each population, not genetic differences, cultural ones. The idea of crow culture is not metaphorical. It is a literal description of the mechanism by which certain behaviors persist and spread in crow populations. The crow inherits not just its genes from its parents, but also knowledge, technique, and social norms. A second inheritance, softer than genes, more flexible, but just as real. Crows also learn by watching. Observational learning, acquiring new behaviors by watching others perform them, is well documented in corvids. Young crows learn from their parents and from older siblings not just by being directly taught, but by watching what the adults do and then doing it themselves. This is how foraging techniques spread, how tool use is acquired, how the social norms of the group are absorbed. In experimental settings, crows can acquire solutions to novel problems by watching a demonstrator bird solve them. In one study, observer crows watched demonstrator crows pull a piece of food upward through a tube by inserting a stick and lifting. None of the observer crows had ever seen this technique before. After watching, many successfully performed the same action themselves on the first attempt. They did not need to fumble through the problem by trial and error. They watched, they understood, and they did. This is a high-level form of social learning. It requires understanding what the demonstrator is doing well enough to reproduce it in a new context. Not just copying the movements, but grasping the principle, understanding the goal and how the action achieves it. This kind of true imitation, as opposed to mere stimulus enhancement or mimicry, is considered cognitively demanding and has been demonstrated reliably in only a small number of species. Crows are among them. And again, breathe. Long and easy. The mind has done enough for tonight. The body has done enough. Now there is only this: the restful dark, the slow breath, the quiet. The crow in winter light is one of the most striking images in nature. Not in a loud or dramatic way, in a quiet way, a still way. The black shape against the bare grey branches of a winter tree. The fresh snow on the ground, unmarked except for the neat three-toed prints of a crow that walked here earlier. The single call carrying across cold air with unusual clarity. The crow is always most visible in winter. When the foliage is gone and the trees are bare and there is nothing to hide behind, the crow sits plainly against the sky, black and deliberate, watching the grey winter world with its characteristic attention. There is a particular stillness to a crow in winter. It holds itself differently in the cold. Feathers fluffed slightly for insulation. Movement more economical. Less of the curious, investigative activity that characterizes them in warmer months. In winter, a crow at rest is very still. A dark shape in a pale world, holding its warmth, watching the world, doing what it needs to do and nothing more. There is a kind of economy in this that is its own kind of beauty. Not the exuberance of the crow in summer, playing and exploring and investigating everything. Something quieter, more contained. The crow managing the cold with the same intelligence it brings to everything. Conserving, enduring, waiting for the light to return. The light always returns. The crow knows this. It has seen many winters. It knows, in whatever way a crow knows anything, that the bare trees will have leaves again, that the hard ground will soften, that the long cold days will give way to warmth. It does not need to be told this. It carries the knowledge of it in its long memory. The accumulated experience of many winters and many springs following. And you know it too. Whatever winter you are in, whatever difficulty you are enduring, the light returns. It always has. For now, for this night, there is just the quiet and the dark and the rest. And that is enough. That is more than enough. Crows have a relationship with death that is more complex than it first appears. We have talked about crow funerals, the gathering, the calling, the communal attendance to the body of a dead crow. But the crow's relationship with death goes beyond this. Crows are carrion feeders. They have been throughout their evolution. And being a carrion feeder means spending time around death in a way that most species do not. For a crow, a dead animal is a resource. It is food. This is not morbid. It is ecological. The crow is part of the system by which the nutrients in one body return to the world and become part of other bodies. The crow's presence at death is, in a profound sense, part of the process of renewal, of the material of life being recycled, returned to circulation. Ancient cultures understood this. In Zoroastrian tradition, the dead were exposed in structures called towers of silence, where vultures and corvids would consume the body. This was not considered disrespectful. It was considered clean and proper. The birds were part of the sacred cycle of return, the flesh returning to the world, the soul departing. The crow's presence at the boundary between life and death has given it its uncanny reputation. Its apparent awareness of where dying is happening. It's gathering around things that have ended. From within a superstitious framework, this looked like foreknowledge, like prophecy. The crow knowing things humans did not. In reality, the crow was paying very close attention, as it always does, and noticing, through senses we are still cataloguing, things that humans, less attentive and less well-equipped sensorially, could not see. There is something beautiful in this reframing. The crow was not a prophet. It was a watcher, a creature of extraordinary attention, living at the edge of things, noticing what others missed. And from that, it acquired a reputation for knowledge that went beyond the natural. The knowledge was natural, just more precise than humans could access. The crow's attention is not supernatural. It is extraordinary. And extraordinary, in the end, is more interesting than supernatural, because it is real. It is here. It is a crow on a wire, watching the world with those dark and ancient eyes, attending to everything with the full force of a remarkably large brain, doing what crows have done for millions of years. Watching, remembering, understanding. The dark behind your eyes is so comfortable now. Soft and complete and restful. The breath moves without effort. The body holds you. The night holds you. And sleep is here, has been here all along, waiting quietly for you to arrive. Crows have been present on this earth for a very long time. The genus Corvus, which contains the crows, diverged from other corvids somewhere between 17 and 24 million years ago. The crow family as a whole is ancient. Corvids have been adapting and diversifying since before the Ice Ages, before the rise of the great human civilizations, before much of the landscape we recognize today existed. Through mass extinction events that rearranged the entire biosphere, through ice ages that buried continents under kilometers of ice, through volcanic winters and meteor impacts and the slow, steady drift of continents, the corvids persisted, adapted, diversified, found new ways to live in new landscapes, and eventually, somewhere in that long history, produced the crow that is living near you tonight. This deep time is worth sitting with for a moment. The crow's lineage stretches back through time in ways that dwarf human history. Every significant event in human civilization, the building of the pyramids, the writing of the first stories, the emergence of cities, the discovery of the Americas, the Industrial Revolution, all of it fits inside a fraction of the crow's evolutionary history. The crow was here before any of it. And in some form, in some version, it will likely be here after. The crow does not think about this. It does not know it is ancient. It just lives. It just does the thing it has always done. Watches, remembers, plans, relates, endures. With the same quiet competence that has carried its lineage through everything the world has thrown at it. There is comfort in that continuity. In knowing that life has been finding its way for a very long time. That intelligence and adaptation and social complexity are not fragile accidents. That something in the fabric of life tends, given enough time, toward minds that watch and wonder. The crow is evidence of that. A living record of what life can become when given enough time and enough pressure and enough empty niches to fill. And tonight that ancient lineage rests in the trees. As it always has. As it will again tomorrow. Steady and unhurried and entirely at home in the world it has occupied for longer than memory reaches. Let yourself rest in that same continuity. You are part of a long story too. A story that stretches back far further than you can hold in your mind, and forward further than you can imagine. For now, for tonight, you are here, safe and warm and resting, part of the long, quiet story of life. There is one final thing to know about crows tonight. Something small and very quiet. If you were to sit very still in a place where crows lived, not watching for them, not looking, just sitting still and being quiet, something might happen. After enough time, a crow might come closer than usual. Not boldly, not dramatically, but closer. It might land nearby and look at you with that particular tilt of the head that means it is truly attending to you. And you might feel, in that moment, that you were genuinely being seen. Not seen the way a nervous prey animal sees a predator, but seen the way one aware creature sees another. The crow is assessing you, filing away information, building a model of what you are and whether you can be trusted. This assessment will inform how it behaves around you tomorrow, and the day after, and in years to come. If you remain a presence in its world, you matter to the crow. Not sentimentally, practically, as part of its environment, as a data point in its ongoing model of the world. But you matter. The crow has noticed you. It has filed you away. It knows something about you that it did not know before. And there is something in that, something in being noticed and remembered by a creature this ancient and this intelligent, that feels like a small and quiet gift. Not dramatic, not magical, just real. The ordinary, extraordinary fact of being seen by something that is really looking. In many cultures and many times, the crow has been the bird at the edge of things, at the edge of the field where the forest begins, at the edge of the town where the open country starts, at the edge of day as the light fades and the darkness gathers. The crow watches that edge. It knows it intimately. It is at home there, between the known and the unknown, between the light and the dark, between the world of activity and the world of rest. And in that sense, the crow is exactly the right companion for this hour. For this edge, the edge between waking and sleep, between thought and the quiet that comes when thought slows and ceases. Between the day that is ending and the sleep that is beginning. The crow knows this threshold. It has always lived here, at the edge, watching, intelligent, aware, and completely at ease with the dark. Let yourself cross now, gently, into the quiet, into the dark, into sleep. The crow keeps watch at the edge of the world tonight. And you do not have to. You do not have to watch or plan or remember anything at all. Everything is exactly as it needs to be. Let your thoughts go now, like the last calls of the roost fading into silence. One thought, and then another, and then nothing. Just the quiet dark. Just the soft and easy breath. Just rest. The crow knows this dark, and so do you. You have always known how to sleep. Your body knows it without thinking. Trust it. Follow it. All the way down into the deep and restful silence, where everything is soft and warm and safe. Good night. Sleep well. The crow is watching over the edge of the world tonight, just as it always has. And you are held and resting and safe. Good night.